Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. If you have even, well, a passing interest in the electrifying world of high-stakes soccer, then you are absolutely in for a treat today. We're about to plunge into the details of a truly compelling debut victory in a brand new expanded tournament that is already setting the global soccer stage ablaze. It's quite something. Our mission for this deep dive is crystal clear. We're going to unpack the recent pivotal round of 16 clash between German giants Borussia Dortmund and Mexican powerhouse CF Monterrey in the inaugural 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. We'll be extracting all the crucial insights, the surprising twists, and the deeper tactical nuances from the sources you shared with us, give you a complete and nuanced understanding of this historic match. Get ready for your definitive shortcut to being incredibly well informed about this groundbreaking competition.
And you've hit on the key word there, groundbreaking. This isn't just another match, or even the Club World Cup as we once knew it, not by a long shot. To properly set the stage, it's vital to understand that this new FIFA Club World Cup represents, well, a seismic shift in global soccer. It's significantly larger, far more ambitious, and meticulously designed to elevate club competition to an unprecedented level. Honestly, the scale is just different now. This specific match, a dramatic opening for one of Europe's top clubs, Dortmund, provides a fantastic high-stakes lens through which to truly understand the immense scale and the strategic implications of this massively expanded format. It's a tournament that promises to reshape the landscape of elite club soccer for years to come, no question about it.
All right, let's unpack this new, truly massive tournament because, trust me, this isn't the Club World Cup you might vaguely remember from years past. It's a whole new beast. For over a decade, the Club World Cup was, well, a relatively compact affair, wasn't it? Often viewed by many as more of a minor trophy.
Almost like an exhibition sometimes, yeah.
Exactly. Usually contested by just a handful of continental champions over a short period. It often felt like, I don't know, an afterthought for the European giants slotted awkwardly into their already congested calendars.
Definitely. You'd see heavily rotated squads sometimes. It didn't always feel like the absolute priority.
But the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup, this is a complete reinvention of the concept. FIFA has taken the fundamental idea and scaled it up dramatically. They've injected it with a level of ambition and, frankly, financial backing never before seen for a club competition of this kind. It's serious business now. The most striking and fundamental change is its expanded format. For the first time ever, it features 32 teams. 32.
That number alone tells you everything. It's a monumental leap from the usual 7 or 8 participants we've been accustomed to.
Right. And it fundamentally transforms the competitive landscape. This isn't just an invitational tournament anymore.
Yeah.
It adopts a full-blown World Cup-style structure,
Yeah.
Complete with proper group stages leading directly into intense knockout rounds.
Just like the International World Cup, basically. Groups of 4, top 2 go through that familiar rhythm.
Imagine the sheer volume and quality of high-stakes soccer matches packed into this event. It's designed to be a festival of club soccer, truly global in its reach. And it's not a quick trip for the teams either, which adds another layer of complexity and challenge. This isn't a week-long thing. This is designed to be a true global soccer festival, stretching across an entire month, and notably, it's hosted across 11 different cities right here in the United States.
A whole month? That's a significant commitment, especially tacked onto the regular season.
It's a monumental logistical undertaking, you have to imagine. Not just for FIFA, but for the participating clubs, their players, and their extensive support staff. Think about travel, training facilities, accommodation.
Absolutely. Across 11 cities, too. It's not like they're all based in one spot. That travel adds up.
It speaks volumes about the sheer ambition of what FIFA's trying to build with this new iteration of the tournament. It feels less like an addition to the calendar and more like a definitive statement, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A massive declaration of intent for the future of club soccer on the global stage.
It absolutely is a statement, and a profound one at that. It's FIFA saying, this is the pinnacle of global club competition. What's truly insightful here is how this expansion fundamentally elevates the competition, not just in size, but in prestige and competitive depth. By bringing 32 diverse clubs from across every confederation, Europe, South America, CONCACAF, Africa, Asia, Oceania, to a single global stage, it's no longer just a predictable European-South American showdown with a few regional champions making up the numbers, like it sometimes felt before.
That's a really good point. It opens the door for more surprises, more global matchups we wouldn't normally see.
Exactly. Now, every match, from the newly introduced group stages onward, carries immense weight and draws unprecedented global attention. This creates extraordinary opportunities for teams from leagues that typically don't receive this kind of exposure. Think about teams from, say, the J League or the K League or MLS or leagues in Africa.
Getting to test themselves against the absolute world's elite clubs.
Precisely. Potentially shifting the balance of power, or at least perceptions, in global soccer. It gives them a platform they just didn't have before on this scale. And if we connect this to the broader picture of global soccer, this expanded format has profound and far-reaching impacts on team strategies and player conditioning. That's maybe the biggest factor coaches are wrestling with.
Oh, definitely. A month-long tournament. That's brutal.
Think about it. A month-long tournament, potentially up to 7 high-intensity matches if you go all the way, all stacked on top of already grueling domestic league schedules and existing continental club competitions like the UEFA Champions League or the CONCACAF Champions Cup. The load is immense.
It's an unprecedented physical and mental challenge for the players, surely.
Without a doubt. It puts immense pressure on squad depth, tactical adaptability, and the medical and sports science teams. Injury prevention becomes absolutely paramount.
So coaches have to manage player fatigue, rotation policies.
Well,
It's a whole new level of juggling.
like never before in a club competition of this nature, we might even see a strategic shift where clubs develop what you could call a tournament XIs and a league XI, right?
Effectively rotating entire starting lineups to manage the physical toll.
Potentially, yeah. Especially the bigger clubs with deeper squads. This would force clubs to invest even more heavily in larger, more versatile squads, and perhaps even rethink their transfer market priorities. Maybe moving towards players who can cover multiple positions rather than just singular superstars.
Because depth across every single position becomes paramount for a month-long grind like this. You can't afford weak links or burnout in key areas.
Exactly, which brings up that really important question. What does this mean for the future of club soccer and international competitions? Will we see teams prioritizing this tournament more, maybe even sacrificing domestic league performance for the global spotlight and, let's be honest, the significant prize money?
Or will it force even more intricate strategic squad management throughout the entire season? Just constant rotation.
It's a truly fascinating evolution to observe. How do clubs balance these competing demands?
That's a vital question, and it has massive implications for how elite clubs operate. Do you foresee a scenario where a club, especially one from a league outside of Europe's traditional Big Five, might genuinely prioritize going all in on the Club World Cup? For the global exposure and potential prize money, even if it means a dip in their domestic league performance, could that be a calculated risk?
I think that's entirely possible, yeah. For a club from a lesser-known league, the exposure, the financial windfall, the sheer prestige of performing well on this global stage, it could absolutely be a game changer. It could boost their brand globally, help with recruitment, change their entire trajectory. They might indeed be willing to gamble more, put more eggs in this basket.
But for the established European giants, the Real Madrids, the Bayerns, the Dortmunds,
Well, for them, their domestic leagues and continental competitions like the Champions League are still their bread and butter, aren't they? They demand consistent performance over 9 months. The challenge for them will be finding that delicate balance. Burnout is a very real threat, not just physically, but mentally. We see it year after year.
and a single injury to a key player during this tournament could derail an entire season back home.
Absolutely. So while they'll certainly want to win this trophy, it's a FIFA world title. After all, their squad management will likely be far more conservative and calculated. They'll perhaps leverage their deeper benches to a greater extent than ever before. It's a high wire act for everyone involved, balancing ambition with pragmatism.
A high wire act indeed. And if this tournament is truly about testing the global elite, then our next segment spotlights two teams who certainly put that to the test in Atlanta. Let's delve into the specific matchup we're dissecting today. Borussia Dortmund versus CF Monterrey. A fascinating clash representing the very best of European and CONCACAF soccer. On one side, we have Borussia Dortmund, one of Germany's most storied clubs, a perennial powerhouse representing UEFA, Europe. Big name, big history. Their journey to this stage was certainly impressive. They cruised through their group with a strong record of 2 wins and 1 draw, demonstrating their quality and readiness for the competition. They looked sharp.
Yeah, they handled their group pretty comfortably from what I saw. It looked like a team that knew what they were doing.
But what makes this particular match and Dortmund's presence even more historic and adds a layer of, palpable excitement is that this was Borussia Dortmund's first ever participation in the FIFA Club World Cup. Ever.
That's huge for a club of their stature. You'd almost assume they'd been in it before, but no. First time.
Right. Think about the buzz within the club. Among their incredibly passionate fan base, the Yellow Wall goes global, essentially, and even within the Bundesliga. A debut on this brand new stage in a knockout match against a truly formidable opponent from another continent. It was a moment laden with expectation.
Huge expectation and pressure, undoubtedly.
Their opponents, CF Monterrey, are no strangers to big stages themselves, representing CONCACAF, the Confederation for North, Central America, and the Caribbean. A real force in that region. It certainly didn't come to just make up the numbers. Monterrey had shown incredibly strong performance leading up to this knockout match, particularly highlighted by their dominant 4-0 victory over Urawa Red Diamonds in the latter stages of their group play. That result really made people sit up and take notice.
Oh yeah, that 4D win was a statement. Urawa Red Diamonds are a very decent side, former Asian champions. So to beat them like that showed Monterrey meant business.
That kind of result sends a clear, emphatic message. They are here to compete at the highest level, and they possess the firepower and tactical discipline to back it up. They're a club with a rich history in their own region, consistently challenging for titles in Liga MX and the CONCACAF Champions Cup, showcasing a blend of technical skill and often real physical prowess.
And a key aspect to consider going into this game was the perceived stylistic differences and the expectations for each team. It felt like a classic clash of styles on paper. European teams, especially those from the Bundesliga like Dortmund, are often characterized by their intense tactical discipline, high technical skill, and that relentless pressing game, the gegenpressing or counter-pressing.
High energy, very structured.
Very structured, very high tempo. Their players are accustomed to week in, week out top-tier club and international competition. They operate at an incredibly high pace. On the other hand, CONCACAF teams, particularly from Mexico like Monterrey, often bring a unique blend. There's flair, individual brilliance, maybe a more fluid, less rigid tactical setup sometimes.
A bit more unpredictable, maybe.
Perhaps, yeah. They combine maybe some South American technical artistry with a distinctly North American athleticism. And they frequently play with a passionate, often highly physical style of soccer that can genuinely surprise European opponents who aren't used to that specific blend week in, week out. It's a different kind of challenge.
So the pressure on Dortmund in their debut must have been immense.
Immense and multifaceted, I'd say. As a European powerhouse, there's an inherent expectation, fair or not, that they should not only advance but potentially challenge for the title, especially against a team from a different confederation.
Right, the European favorite tag.
Exactly. Their debut in this expanded format meant they had to prove they truly belonged among the global elite of club soccer, not just as a strong European side. They were carrying the weight of their own club's history and, to some extent, UEFA's reputation.
And Monterrey, their motivation must have been sky high.
Absolutely. They arrived with a different kind of motivation. As a regional champion, a consistent force in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, they had everything to gain. And arguably nothing to lose by looking to make a massive statement against a global giant like Dortmund. They were driven to prove that CONCACAF soccer can stand toe-to-toe with the very best of Europe.
This round of 16 match was their perfect opportunity to do just that, wasn't it?
Their perfect stage. This set the scene for what promised to be a truly compelling and unpredictable encounter. Reputations were on the line, regional pride was definitely at stake.
It certainly delivered on that promise of unpredictability. The stage was set, the teams were primed, and what unfolded was, well, a captivating battle. And compelling it absolutely was. Let's talk about how the battle unfolded on that momentous summer evening, July 1st, 2025. The atmosphere inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta was electrifying. You could feel it right from the moment the team stepped onto the pristine pitch. We're talking a comfortable 9 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff under the dazzling lights of a stadium that felt ready for a truly global spectacle. Great venue.
Fantastic stadium, yeah. Perfect setting for a big game.
With 31,442 spectators packing the stands, a fantastic turnout for a club match like this in the U.S., you could almost feel the anticipation thrumming in the air. A real mix of excitement from Dortmund's traveling support, who always travel well, and the passionate Monterrey faithful.
Yeah, both sets of fans bring incredible noise and color.
The referee, the experienced Argentinian official Facundo Tello, had his work cut out for him to the very first whistle. You knew it was going to be competitive.
Tello's a seasoned ref, used to big South American games. Probably a good choice for a potentially fiery match.
From the get-go, the match was played at a fierce, almost frenetic pace, both sides displaying an intense physicality that immediately signaled their intent. No easing into it.
Definitely not. It was full throttle from the start, tackles flying in.
This wasn't just about pretty passes and intricate buildup. It was about winning every duel, every 50-50 ball, asserting dominance through sheer will and strength. Proper knockout soccer. Monterrey, perhaps eager to stamp their authority on the European debutantes, showed their early threats. They weren't intimidated. Specifically, we saw Nelson Diosa, their talented midfielder. He wasn't shy about unleashing powerful long-range shots.
Yeah, he had a couple of digs early on, didn't he? Trying to test Kobel from distance.
Seemed determined to test the Dortmund goalkeeper, yeah. And those early attempts, though off target, certainly served as a clear warning shot. Signaled Monterrey's aggressive approach.
It said, we're not just here to defend, we're coming at you.
But despite Monterrey's early assertiveness and physical presence, it was Borussia Dortmund who found the decisive breakthrough. And they did it with that kind of clinical precision.
The kind top European clubs are renowned for.
Exactly. They quickly established a dominant first half. The opening goal arrived in the 14th minute, and it was a beauty of a strike. Really well worked. The movement was fluid. Guirassy, showing why he's having such a prolific season, initiated a clever link-up with Adeyemi just outside the box. Quick 1-2.
Smart interplay. Drag the defenders out.
Adeyemi then played a perfectly weighted pass back to Guirassy, who had smartly drifted into space. Found that pocket. From about 14 yards out, Guirassy unleashed a precise, powerful left-footed shot. Bang! Nestled perfectly into the near corner.
Gave the keeper, Andrada, absolutely no chance. Perfect placement.
It really was. A perfectly placed shot that absolutely showcased Dortmund's fast break potential and their ruthless ability to convert opportunities.
Textbook counterattacking goal almost. Quick transition, sharp movement, clinical finish.
The celebration was immediate, a mix of relief and exhilaration for the German side. Get that first goal in a knockout game, huge boost. And they weren't done there. Just 10 minutes later, 24th minute, we witnessed a quick, devastating double strike that truly solidified Dortmund's control over the first half.
That second goal came quick, really put Monterrey on the ropes.
There's Guirassy again, putting his stamp all over this debut match. He was on fire. The build-up was classic Dortmund, highlighting their ability to transition quickly and punish opponents. Just ruthless.
It started with a tackle, didn't it, Ryerson?
Exactly. Julian Ryerson won the ball with the decisive, perfectly timed tackle in midfield, instantly turning defense into attack. One motion. He then launched a perfectly weighted, curling 50-yard pass. I mean, what a ball.
Sensational pass, cut right through the Monterrey lines.
Dropped right into the path of Adeyemi, who would burst into acres of space at the top of the box. Just electric pace. Adeyemi demonstrating incredible selflessness and vision. He could have shot, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a tight angle, but he could have tried. Showed good awareness, though.
Right. Instead, he unselfishly teed up Guirassy, who had continued his run, busted a gut to get there. Guirassy then calmly, almost disdainfully, chipped the ball over the onrushing goalkeeper Andrada. Ice-cold finish. Made it 2-0.
Lovely dinked finish. So much composure in front of goal.
2 goals for Guirassy, 2 assists for Adeyemi, an absolutely devastating attacking partnership in that first half hour. Showcased their chemistry and efficiency right from the start.
What's truly insightful here is how these goals were not just individual moments of brilliance, though they were brilliant, but direct reflections of Dortmund's tactical efficiency and their absolute commitment to clinical finishing. That was the key difference early on.
Their 3-4-2-1 formation really seemed set up for that, didn't it?
Yeah, that setup. 3 central defenders, 4 midfielders across the pitch, 2 attacking mids behind the main striker. It's clearly designed with a dual purpose. Defensive stability, first and foremost, hard to break down centrally. But then, crucially, capitalizing on quick counterattacks, using that width from the wingbacks and the pace up front.
And those 2 goals in rapid succession perfectly illustrated this strategy paying off in spades.
Absolutely. They didn't need to dominate possession or string together endless passes to create lethal chances. They were incredibly efficient with their opportunities. The almost immediate devastating impact of that attacking duo Guirassy and Adeyemi just highlights how dangerous a streamlined, direct approach can be when executed with such precision.
They picked their moments, and boy did they make them count. Ruthless efficiency is the perfect description. And as often happens in high-stakes knockout matches, a pivotal moment arrived for Dortmund in the first half that would have significant repercussions down the line. Maybe it didn't seem huge at the time. In the 28th minute, Jobi Bellingham, Dortmund's promising young talent, Jude's younger brother, key figure in their midfield, received a yellow card.
Yeah, I remember that. It looked like a fairly standard booking for maybe a tactical foul or a late challenge.
Right. At the time, amidst the general physicality and fast pace, it might have seemed like just another caution, a routine booking in a competitive match.
But you're right, on the surface, it might have seemed minor. This raises a truly important question, though, regarding squad management and tournament rules. How does a single caution early in a knockout tournament impact a team's strategy and player availability, especially in a competition with specific disciplinary rules like yellow card accumulation?
And for Yobi Bellingham, this particular yellow card carried far more significant implications than just a mere warning, didn't it?
Far more. Crucially, due to the tournament rules regarding accumulated yellow cards, maybe he picked one up in the group stage too. It meant he would be automatically suspended for the upcoming quarterfinal match.
Wow. Just like that, suspended for the quarters.
That's a major blow for Dortmund, not just for their midfield depth and tactical options against what would inevitably be an elite opponent, but it also unfortunately prevents what would have been a much anticipated high-profile brotherly clash.
Against his elder brother, Jude Bellingham, who famously plays for Real Madrid, the very team Dortmund is set to face next.
Exactly. The narrative was already writing itself, the Bellingham brothers facing off in a Club World Cup quarterfinal, and that yellow card just wiped it out.
So a moment that seemed small and isolated in the heat of the first half suddenly becomes a very large shadow hanging over Dortmund's crucial next game.
It starkly illustrates the razor-thin margins and the disciplinary tightrope teams have to walk in these high-stakes competitions. One mistimed tackle can have huge consequences beyond just the current match.
That yellow card certainly cast a long shadow, a tantalizing what-if already hanging over the next fixture. But the match itself was far, far from over. As we shifted into the second half, the narrative took a dramatic, almost immediate turn with Monterrey's determined comeback. They had to respond, didn't
They
they?
had no choice. 2-0 down, they had to throw caution to the wind a bit.
They clearly came out of the locker room with renewed purpose, perhaps fueled by a stern halftime talk from their coach, Torrente. And their immediate impact was undeniable. They were a team transformed. Just 3 minutes into the second half, 3 minutes. In the 48th minute, Monterrey found the back of the net,
Right away. Didn't take them long at all.
breathing vital new life into the match and sending a roar through their contingent of fans. Game on. It was a beautifully worked goal, too. Showcased their attacking quality and perhaps some tactical adjustments made at the break.
Looked like they came out with more width, maybe. More urgency, certainly.
Jesus Corona, their talented winger, delivered a dangerous curling cross from the left flank, whipped it in with pace and accuracy, aimed precisely at the far post. Eric Aguirre then showed excellent awareness, heading the ball back across the face of goal. Unselfish play.
Great cushioned header back into the danger zone. Perfect assist.
Right into the path of German Bertem. And Bertem was perfectly positioned to nod at home with a powerful header. No mistake.
Good striker's instinct. Right place, right time. Made it 2-1.
His third goal of the tournament, highlighting his crucial role as a goal-scoring threat for Monterrey. This wasn't just a consolation. It was a powerful statement of intent.
Absolutely. It immediately reignited the contest, transforming it from what looked like a comfortable lead for Dortmund into a tense, unpredictable battle. Suddenly, Dortmund looked rattled.
This goal was an undeniable game-changer, wasn't it? Not only igniting the match, but undeniably shifting the momentum decisively in Monterrey's favor.
You could palpably feel it. Their renewed belief, the energy surged through the stadium from their fans. Dortmund suddenly looked hesitant.
They had clearly made astute tactical adjustments at halftime, pushing higher up the pitch, pressing Dortmund with greater intensity than we saw in the first half.
Definitely pressing higher, yeah. And they began to exert sustained pressure on Dortmund, pushing the German side deeper and deeper into their own half.
Forcing them into defensive positions they hadn't really occupied much in the first 45 minutes.
And the statistical difference in possession tells a powerful story here. You mentioned it, Monterrey dominated the second half with 58.5% possession.
Yet compared to Dortmund's significantly reduced 41.5%. Big swing.
And this wasn't just sterile, passive possession either. It demonstrated their renewed control of the midfield, their commitment to pushing forward, and their ability to generate chance after chance. They truly took the game to Dortmund after the break. Flipped the script entirely. Dortmund were hanging on for periods.
And Monterrey's pressure was relentless. It felt like wave after wave of attacks that pushed Dortmund to their absolute limits. In the 59th minute, Jesus Corona Tecatito, who had been instrumental in their goal, found himself with another golden opportunity.
Big chance, that one.
Broke free, found himself one-on-one with Dortmund's exceptional goalkeeper, Gregor Kobel. Just Kobel to beat. But Kobo, showcasing why he's regarded as one of the top-tier keepers in European soccer, made a truly crucial, sprawling save. Got down low, spread himself.
Huge save, absolutely massive moment in the match. Kept Dortmund clinging to their precarious one-goal lead.
It was a heart-stopping moment. Could have so easily leveled the score and completely altered the complexion of the game right there.
That save felt like a potential turning point. Or rather, preventing a turning point for Monterrey.
Then, just a few minutes later, 65th minute, we had a truly controversial moment that had everyone on the edge of their seats. More drama. Bertno thought he had scored his second goal of the match. Bundled it in from close range, I think.
Yeah, looked like a scramble in the box.
It would have brought Monterrey deservedly level at 2-2, and the initial celebrations from the Monterrey players and fans were ecstatic. They thought they'd done it. However, those celebrations were quickly cut short. The flag went up. The goal was disallowed due to offside.
Ah, the dreaded offside flag after the ball's in the net. Always controversial.
This wasn't a clear-cut decision at first glance either. Replay showed it was a razor-thin margin, a fraction of a boot or shoulder perhaps.
Almost certainly confirmed by VAR, the video assistant referee, after a tense review. Those calls are incredibly tight with the technology now.
Oh, absolutely. This sparked huge protests from Monterrey's players surrounding the referee and their passionate fans who felt extremely aggrieved. You could genuinely feel the frustration.
A real sense of injustice rippled through their ranks. Understandably so, when it's that close and the stakes are that high.
These are the kinds of moments, aren't they? Those hairline decisions that can truly define a match. And for Monterrey, it was a bitter pill to swallow. Felt like the momentum was with them.
What's genuinely striking here is how agonizingly close Monterrey came to leveling the score. Not just once, but multiple times in that period. And how these single moments, whether it's Kobel's crucial point-blank save or that controversial hairline offside call confirmed by technology, can absolutely define a match at this elite level.
The game truly is one of fine margins.
In the starkest possible terms, these instances highlight that. And this raises an important question. How do teams manage the psychological and physical pressure when an opponent is dominating like that? Dominating possession, creating chance after chance, knocking so persistently on the door. How do you cope?
Dortmund had to dig incredibly deep, didn't they? Relying heavily on their defensive organization, which may be bent but didn't break.
Their collective resilience, yeah. And of course, the brilliance of their goalkeeper, Kobel, to withstand that relentless onslaught. He was immense in that period.
It's a test not just of skill and tactical discipline, but of sheer mental fortitude, isn't it? To absorb that kind of sustained pressure and still hold on to a narrow lead.
Absolutely. That's where experience and maybe that big game mentality comes into play.
With Monterrey applying such intense and sustained pressure, Dortmund's astute coach, Edin Kovac, knew he had to do something. He made some absolutely crucial strategic substitutions around the 70-minute mark.
Yeah, you could see him pacing on the sideline. He needed to change the dynamic.
In the 70th minute, he introduced two fresh faces, Julian Brandt and Jan Kudo. Brandt for midfield control, Kudo maybe for some energy at wingback.
Sounds about right. Experienced heads, fresh legs.
These weren't just random changes to kill time. They felt like targeted interventions, designed to address the dramatic momentum shift and bring much-needed composure back to Dortmund's play. And their immediate impact was palpable, wouldn't you say? They helped stabilize Dortmund's midfield control, bringing fresh legs, renewed energy, and tactical discipline to the center of the park.
Definitely helped settle things down, gave them an outlet, someone to keep the ball for a bit.
This allowed Dortmund to withstand Monterrey's final, desperate onslaught, giving them a much stronger foothold in the game's dying moments and disrupting Monterrey's rhythm just enough.
If we connect this to the bigger picture of elite-level soccer, it shows the paramount importance of a coach's tactical foresight and the depth of their bench. That's crucial in tournaments like this.
Especially in a tight, high-stakes knockout game.
Exactly. Kovac's substitutions weren't simply about bringing on new players. It was about shifting the dynamic, reinforcing areas of weakness that Monterrey was exploiting, and allowing his exhausted team to breathe and reorganize. Effective game management like this, executed under intense pressure with the game hanging in the balance,
Can often be the decisive factor between winning and losing.
without a doubt. It speaks volumes about the strategic chess match happening not just on the pitch, but on the sidelines. Every decision, every personnel change can swing the pendulum.
It's about more than just the starting Este. It's about the entire squad, the whole setup.
Precisely. Bench strength is key in a month-long tournament.
And as the clock ticked down into what felt like an eternity of added time, The drama intensified to almost unbearable levels. You just knew something else might happen, culminating in what was arguably the most dramatic moment of the entire match, right at the death. In the absolute dying seconds of stoppage time, the evergreen 38-year-old Sergio Ramos,
Yes, that's Sergio Ramos, Monterrey's veteran center back and captain.
still going strong at 38, and popping up in attack, defied his years and surged forward from defense, pushing himself into the very tip of the attack. A desperate gamble. He positioned himself perfectly, got free in the box, and managed to get his head to a desperate cross floated in.
Incredible effort to even get up there.
The entire stadium, all 31,000 plus spectators, held their breath in unison as his header looped towards goal. It looked destined for the net,
Time stood still for a second there.
and it agonizingly grazed the outside of the post, inches away from finding the net. Inches.
Oh, heartbreak. So close.
So close to achieving what would have been a truly fairy tale equalizer for Monterrey, a moment of sheer heart-wrenching agony for their fans, and conversely, immense collective relief for every single Dortmund player and supporter.
You could almost hear the collective gasp and then the sigh of relief from the Dortmund end.
It perfectly encapsulated the fine margins of the game, a matter of inches deciding the outcome. Wow, what a moment indeed. Just breathless stuff at the end there. Now let's take a proper tactical deep dive and spotlight the standout individual performances that truly defined this match and shaped its outcome. Unquestionably, Guirassy was the man of the match, a truly deserving recipient of the honor. Had to be him, right?
Oh, absolutely. 2 goals in a knockout game, especially the way he took them. Clear man of the match.
His 2 goals were absolutely clinical, showcasing his incredible form and lethal finishing touch. This performance just continued his exceptional season. He's now tallied a staggering 37 goals across all competitions. That figure is just phenomenal. 37 goals. That's elite territory. Truly world-class return for any striker in any league. Puts him right up there with the very best.
Highlights his invaluable contribution to Dortmund. They rely on those goals. But it wasn't just Guirassy acting as a lone wolf up there, was it? We absolutely have to emphasize the seamless and devastating partnership between Guirassy and his strike partner, Karim Adeyemi. That connection was crucial, especially in the first half. They clicked perfectly.
Adeyemi was the architect of both of Guirassy's goals, providing both direct assists. He demonstrated not just his electrifying pace and technical skill,
Which we know he has in abundance.
but his remarkable unselfishness and vision to pick out Guirassy in crucial moments, especially that second goal assist.
Yeah, that showed great awareness of where his teammate was, didn't force the shot himself.
Their chemistry on the pitch was evident, a telepathic understanding that made them a nightmare for Monterrey's defense, particularly in transition.
Created chances seemingly out of thin air through quick transitions and intelligent movement. They really epitomized Dortmund's efficient attacking philosophy in that first half.
And then, at the other end, protecting Dortmund's precarious lead with extraordinary resolve, especially in that second half.
Yeah.
Gregor Kobel.
Kobel was massive for them. Absolutely massive.
His goalkeeping was absolutely crucial throughout the match, making a remarkable 6 saves, often under intense pressure.
6 saves, and some of them were top drawer.
That vital one-on-one stop against Jesus Corona in the second half in particular, that was a game-saving moment, pure reaction and positioning.
Without that save, it's 2-2, and who knows what happens then. That could have single-handedly changed the outcome of the match.
His presence between the posts just instills confidence in his defenders. You can see it. He's a real leader back there. In contrast, Monterrey's goalkeeper, Andrada, made only 1 save. But, to be fair, it's important to note his overall stability and composure despite facing fewer direct shots on target. Dortmund weren't peppering his goal.
True. Dortmund only had 3 shots on target, right? So Andrada wasn't constantly busy, but he conceded 2 of those 3. Kobel faced more direct threats and stood tall.
Exactly. The significant difference in saves highlights precisely where the decisive moments of the game truly happened. Kobel's heroics when Dortmund needed them most were arguably just as important as Guirassy's goals.
A fair point. Goalkeeping was definitely a key factor in the result. Now, to provide a comprehensive tactical analysis, let's really look at how both teams approached this game and how their philosophies clashed. It was fascinating.
Dortmund's 3-4-2-1 formation. We touched on it, but let's dig in.
Right, that 3-4-2-1. 3 central defenders providing a strong base, often covered by the 2 central midfielders dropping back. Four midfielders stretching across the pitch, two central, two wing-backs providing width, and then those two attacking midfielders, like a Adeyemi perhaps, playing just behind the lone striker, Guirassy. It was clearly optimized for defensive solidity first.
Made them hard to break down centrally.
Very hard. This formation allowed them to create a compact, difficult-to-break-down shape when out of possession. Made it incredibly challenging for Monterrey to penetrate through the middle, especially in the first half. But crucially, this formation also provided the ideal platform for rapid, vertical counterattacks. Once they won the ball back, boom.
Utilizing the explosive pace and directness of players like Adeyemi, and of course the clinical finishing of Guirassy.
Exactly. Their efficiency was staggering, as we said. Only 3 shots on target throughout the entire match, yet 2 found the back of the net.
And the third was presumably a decent chance too.
Well, the stat just says 3 shots on target, so maybe the third forced a save or was blocked close in. But the point is, their conversion rate was incredibly high. It speaks to what we in soccer analysis might call a high expected goals on target, or XGOT value. Basically, it means the shots they did get on target were high-quality chances, well-placed, making them harder to save, superior finishing, not just shot volume.
Right. Quality over quantity. Makes sense. And Monterrey. They're 4-3-1-2.
Monterrey, on the other hand, employed a more traditional 4-3-1-2 formation. You often hear it called a diamond midfield. 4 defenders, a holding midfielder, 2 central midfielders, an attacking midfielder at the tip of the diamond, and 2 strikers up top.
A formation that typically places more reliance on possession.
Generally, yes, especially controlling the central areas. It aims to control the midfield, dictate the tempo, and build attacks through sustained pressure and intricate passing sequences. Less reliant on wing play, more focused through the middle.
Which we definitely saw in their second half dominance in possession. They owned the ball for long stretches.
Emphatically evidenced by that second half. The statistical disparities truly highlight this fundamental contrast in philosophies.
Monterrey led significantly in total shots, 14 attempts compared to Dortmund's mere 6. That's more than double.
Huge difference in shot volume. And they also had more corners, 5 to Dortmund's 3, indicating more sustained pressure in the final third.
Yet, despite creating a far greater volume of chances, Dortmund's superior conversion rate proved to be the decisive factor.
Ultimately, yeah. If we connect this to the bigger picture of modern soccer tactics, it's a classic example of contrasting philosophies clashing head-on. Dortmund's direct efficiency and counterattacking prowess versus Monterrey's sustained control and possession-based approach. Efficiency versus control.
And in this particular high-stakes knockout scenario,
Dortmund's ruthless efficiency ultimately trumped Monterrey's sustained, but, you could argue, less decisive control in front of goal. It's a compelling argument for the power of clinical finishing, isn't it? Especially in tournaments.
absolutely. Take your chances when they come. What a fascinating clash of styles indeed. It truly underscores how many ways there are to win a soccer match at the elite level. Hashtag Take 6, post-match reflections, and the road ahead. Now, let's turn our attention to the immediate post-match reflections from both coaching camps and consider the road ahead for these teams as this monumental tournament continues. Dortmund's coach, Edin Kovac, was understandably satisfied with the outcome despite that very nervy second half. He must have aged a bit on the sideline there.
Probably. But yeah, a win's a win, especially in your tournament debut knockout game.
He spoke with a sense of quiet triumph, stating, "We are very happy. I think we performed above expectations." Interesting phrase. Above expectation.
Maybe acknowledging how tough Monterrey made it for them? Or maybe just managing expectations for the rest of the tournament.
Could be. That's a confident assessment anyway, especially after such a tight match against a tenacious opponent who pushed them right to the brink. He also wasted no time in looking ahead to the next colossal challenge, noting his familiarity with Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid, already thinking about the quarters.
Yeah, mentioning Alonso specifically suggests he's already deep into the tactical planning for that game, shows his focus.
On the other side, Monterrey's coach, Fernando Torrente, understandably expressed his frustration with some specific refereeing decisions that disallowed goal bludgeoned, probably chief among them.
Yeah, that's a common sentiment from coaches after a narrow, hard-fought defeat where a key decision goes against you. Heat of the moment stuff.
But he also showed a commendable and gracious acknowledgement of Dortmund's quality, which was good to see. He admitted, "We were not facing just any team, but we dominated and created many chances." That feels like a very fair and honest assessment.
It is. It acknowledges both his team's immense effort, they really did dominate spells, and the undeniable quality of their opponent. Good sportsmanship.
And Sergio Ramos, ever the consummate professional despite the heartbreak of hitting the post right at the end.
Yeah.
He provided a measured and poignant commentary. He said, "It was a good performance today. The most important thing is that the spectators and our fans saw our team give their all."
Classic Ramos leadership, focusing on the effort.
Absolutely. Speaks volumes about the incredible effort Monterrey put in and the pride they took in their performance. Even in defeat, they left everything out there.
This match, despite being just one fixture in a larger tournament, carries significant broader implications and historical significance, wouldn't you say, for both clubs and their confederations.
Definitely. For Borussia Dortmund, this victory marks a truly historic moment in their club's long and decorated history. As we said, their first Club World Cup appearance. And now, their first time ever defeating a Mexican team in the FIFA Club World Cup. That's a specific milestone they'll appreciate. It's not just about advancing to the next round then. It solidifies their place on this new global stage.
And reinforces the positive trajectory they've been on under Kovac's leadership. It proves they can perform when it truly counts, beyond their domestic league and traditional European competitions. Shows their adaptability, too.
Handling a different style of opponent from a different part of the world.
Exactly. And for CF Monterrey, despite the heartbreak of elimination in such dramatic fashion, they earned immense respect across the global soccer landscape. No doubt about that.
They absolutely did. Pushed a European giant all the way.
They proved their capability to compete at the very highest level with a top European club, demonstrating emphatically that CONCACAF soccer is not to be underestimated. Their role as the last CONCACAF representative to be eliminated in this expanded tournament means they truly carried the torch for their confederation. That's significant.
So their performance will undoubtedly raise the standing and perception of CONCACAF teams in future expanded global tournaments.
I think it has to. It raises a crucial question for the future. Will we see more investment and focus on preparing CONCACAF teams for these larger stages, now that they've shown they can push European giants like Dortmund to the absolute brink, proving they belong in this elite company? It's a powerful statement for the whole region.
That's a crucial question for the evolution of global soccer indeed.
Yeah.
And speaking of the next challenge for Dortmund, it doesn't get any easier, does it?
No, it gets significantly harder.
It's a truly monumental one, perhaps the biggest possible test in club soccer. Dortmund will now face none other than the legendary Real Madrid in the quarterfinals.
Wow. Dortmund versus Real Madrid. That's a Champions League final level clash right there in the Club World Cup quarters.
That game is set for July 5th at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Promises to be an absolute spectacle, a true clash of titans. This is genuinely a German-Spanish classic in every sense of the word, a fixture steeped in European history and rivalry. So many iconic matchups between German and Spanish clubs.
Absolutely. Huge history there.
And the drama, of course, is only heightened by the fact that Joby Bellingham will be suspended.
That unavoidable subplot.
Unfortunately, missing that much-anticipated brotherly clash against Jude Bellingham, his sibling, and Real Madrid superstar. That adds another layer of intrigue, even in its absence.
It really does. What's truly compelling here is how Borussia Dortmund, despite securing this vital victory, now faces an immediate and significant tactical puzzle. Adapting to the loss of a key player in Joby Bellingham for arguably their biggest match of the tournament, how do they fill that gap?
It will be a profound test of their true strength, their tactical depth, and their mental resilience under pressure, surely.
No doubt. Facing Real Madrid, a team that is not only a perennial powerhouse, but almost certainly has their own precise tactical ideas and a squad brimming with world-class individual talent. Doing that without a central figure like Joby Bellingham will force Kovac to innovate. He'll need to consider alternative formations, maybe ask other players to step up into unfamiliar roles or adjust responsibilities.
It promises to be a pure soccer chess match between two of Europe's tactical masterminds, Kovac and Alonso.
Absolutely. And a definitive benchmark for where Dortmund truly stands on the global club ladder in this new era of expanded tournaments. It's a must-watch for any fan of tactical soccer. Can't wait for that one. Hashtag tag outro.
What an incredible ride this deep dive has been. Seriously captivating stuff. We've dissected a fascinating clash of styles, from Borussia Dortmund's ruthless clinical efficiency in the first half to CF Monterrey's relentless possession-based resurgence in the second. A real game of two halves.
Absolutely. Two very different tactical battles within one match.
We've witnessed pivotal individual performances that turns the tide. Guirassi's finishing, Kobal saves, Adeyemi's assists. And we've felt the sheer drama and high stakes of this brand new, expanded FIFA Club World Cup. inches away from a different result.
Those fine margins again.
It's abundantly clear that this tournament, even in its inaugural expanded format, is already delivering on its promise of high stakes, compelling matchups, and unforgettable moments.
Yeah, this game was a perfect example of that. Intensity, quality, drama, everything you want. And this match truly showcased how in modern soccer, especially in these knockout tournaments, tactical efficiency and clinical finishing can sometimes trump even sustained possession and territorial dominance.
Efficiency beat control today, you could argue.
You could. It also highlighted how the smallest detail, like that single yellow card to Yobi Bellingham in the first half, can unexpectedly alter the trajectory of a dream matchup, leaving fans and players alike to ponder what might have been with that Bellingham versus Bellingham clash.
Such a shame that won't happen now.
So for you, our curious listener, consider this as you go about your day. What do you think is more critical for sustained success in knockout tournaments? Not just in soccer, but in any high-pressure competition. Is it unwavering tactical dominance and control, trying to impose your will on the game for 90 minutes? Or is it the ruthless ability to be clinically efficient, to convert your chances when they matter most, even if you don't dominate the game overall?
Control versus conversion. That's a great question.
Something to mull over as you continue to explore the fascinating world of competition and strategy.
Fantastic food for thought indeed. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup and this thrilling Dortmund-Monterrey clash.
Yeah.
Keep that curiosity alive, keep asking those big questions, and we'll see you next time as we continue to explore the world of information, one fascinating topic at a time.